Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. We are good to go. Loading into the game with the full Boreal Esports team, as well as eSporks. Now, I know I'm going to mess these teams' names up quite a bit, seeing as they both have eSport in the name. But, I think I'll get over it. I'm an adaptive person. I'm a human being. We like to adapt and change and grow and evolve and learn to deal with issues like pronunciation. Anyways, this is going to be an exciting best of three. Yes, I did say best of three. This is the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. The first week of the playoffs here in the UGC League Western Invite. So we've got 8 of the best teams in the invite that have moved along into the playoffs. And right now we are going to be looking at the top seed versus the 8th seed. If I pull up my overlay here, there we go. So I'm quickly just going to throw up the bracket in front of you here. You guys can check this out. So, yeah, you can find all of this over on UGCleague.com. It's got all the info on all of the tournaments that we got going on, the playoffs for the Western, Central, and Eastern Invite, and the NA Steel Iron, South American Steel Iron, and European Steel Iron, and the Australia and Asian Iron divisions. So, a lot of stuff going on here at the UGC League. But you can see over here, we are in the A bracket, which is first Boreal Esports versus eSporks. So eSporks coming in last seed in the playoffs, and they're going to have a tough match ahead of them, but things are definitely going to look like a exciting match. The winner of that will go on to face the winner of Lampercat plus 4 Rude Dudes versus NVUS. So check that out. Anyways, into the draft. We've been waiting for this for quite a while. We are looking at Brewmaster first pick by Boreal Esports after the Skyrath Mage, the Tidehunter, the Faithful Void, and the Ogre Magi were all banned out. No one dipping into their reserve time yet until just this moment, as eSports takes a little bit to decide what they want, but they grab the they grab the DP right off the bat. All right. Yeah, so I don't think I've casted Boreal Esports yet this season. I think I've casted eSporks once or twice already, and I've actually played with them a few times. Vagrants and Tom have added me up and got me in some of their pub games, so it's been good times with them. But yeah, nothing with Boreal Esports. So I'm curious to see how they do. But seeing as they are first seed, I do expect some spectacular play out of them. So. That's something to look forward to. But anyways, we got the Centaur Warrunner being picked up as well by eSporks right off the bat. So they're looking for a lot of initiation, a lot of team fights, and the Death Prop and the Centaur are two fantastic ways to do that. I mean, once you get the spirits set off and you get that stampede going, you are in a fight and you are ready to go. So that is definitely something that is going to be a factor this game. Heavy initiating power on the Radiant side. Now, Vengeful Spirit is going to be picked up by Boreal, so a little bit more of a positioning play hero here. She's not so much known for her, her initiating or her crowd control powers as much as she is just kind of, positioning. The stun is very good for holding someone down if you can get them in the right spot, and of course that swap good for getting allies out of fights or getting yourself into fights. So something to look at there. But anyways. Getting into the second stage of the bans here, we got that Razor banned out by the Dire side, and I think we're probably going to be seeing some pretty standard bans in the second phase. I don't think anything crazy is going to come out here. I don't know if either of these teams know each other well enough to target their bans, but Slark and Razor are two very strong heroes that see a lot of play nowadays.
Radiant team ban.
And the Wraith King banned out. That's a little bit of an interesting one. I'm not sure. I think that might have just been like a comfort type thing, especially with the lineup that they're drafting right here, because Vengeful is a lot of single target with the magic missile and the swap, being able to pick somebody out of a fight, and Wraith King is just really not a good target for that. As well with the Brewmaster, I mean, you can't really go on him with your ultimate because, you know, a Wraith King should be able to survive the entirety of a Brewmaster ultimate with Reincarnate up. So that's something to think about as you're looking at this draft here. But I don't think that there's anything specifically on the Radiant side that would have indicated a Wraith King pick. Now the Silencer pickup, I like this a lot. This offers them a lot more teamfight initiation, and you know, gives them a way to really shut down this Brewmaster quick and easy, no matter where he is on the map. If you get a couple heroes grouped up, you always have that global silence available to keep him away from that split. And you know, I mean, silences are pretty much the #1 way of shutting down a Brewmaster, and you got that great one on the Death Prophet, as well as the global on the Silencer now. So that's something.
10 seconds
something that's definitely going to come
remaining.
into play. I'm curious to see how eSporks wants to work this into their lineup here. If they drop the Silencer on a support role, he's not going to be getting a lot of farm, which means that he's probably not going to be getting an Aghanim Scepter unless this game goes super late. And you know, the chances of that happening are not fantastic as it stands. I'm seeing a pretty early skew on both sides of the board here. eSporks does go a little bit later with their Death Prophet and even the Silencer, but you know, Venge and Brewmaster are two heroes that operate very well within the first 20 to 25 minutes of the game. I mean, Brewmaster can scale a little later now if you build him correctly and you go straight into those auras and a lot of damage items, but for the most part, he's mainly used for initiation and early game brawling. So, you know, I'm expecting this game to maybe only last, you know, 20 to 30 minutes. Actually, 682. Yeah, I'd say 25 to 35 minutes, somewhere in there. But we'll see. Next Assassin going to be the pickup for Boreal. This is a really cool pickup. I like this a lot. It's not seen all that often nowadays, but it is always effective, and especially against high intelligence targets. You can really dish out a lot of damage with the mana burn, as it does damage equal to, or it removes mana equal to a multiplier of the intelligence. So that Silencer, as he continues to stack up the intelligence as he gets kills and whatnot, Nyx Assassin becomes more and more effective against him. And you know, of course, Nyx Assassin does work very well against a lot of these AoE abilities. You know, abilities that you can't really control. I mean, the Death Prophet spirits and whatnot, you can definitely get a guaranteed stun out of Spike Carapace against the Death Prophet, and with the Centaur War Runner, all you have to do is throw in the Spike Carapace and attack him, and it'll actually stun him because of the return damage. So, really good pickup in the Nyx Assassin. I like this a lot, and of course, you always have a good way of dealing with just dealing with movements around the map. I mean, you have that Nyx Assassin constantly scouting out, and even if the enemy team is carrying detection, if they're dropping sentries, you know, there's always information that you can gain out of a stealth hero. So I like it a lot. We'll see how it does pan out as we get a little further into the game. But yeah, for now, back to eSporks, waiting on their 4th pick here. They're dipping into their reserve time, trying to figure out what they want to play. They're still missing a carry and another support, so curious to see what they're going to go for here. But I imagine it'll be something along the line, something that can team fight really well. Something along the lines of perhaps an Earthshaker, or you know, who. You know, I liked it at my old place. Before I moved, I had my Dota 2 Heroes poster right across from my computer desk, so I could always glance at that and look at all the heroes, but now it's behind me and I gotta turn my ass around to look at it every time. Man, I actually really like the idea of a Sven for eSporks right now. That Warcry getting mixed in with the Centaur ultimate and the Death Prophet will give them a lot of tankability in this fight, and that stun as well is just going to make, you know, wreak a lot of havoc. I think that would work out very well for them, but seeing as they picked up this Witch Doctor, I'm not so sure that's going to be the pick. Generally, if you run a Sven, you want to run something that can, you know, babysit him a little harder, something along the lines of an IO, or you know, something that can aid him in his damage, like the, you know, of course, the IO, the Ancient Apparition, you know, some of the sorts in there. Still an option, but I don't think it's as likely with the Witch Doctor pickup. I have a feeling we're going to see something a little bit more.
5 seconds remaining.
A little bit more late game in terms of their carry. Something like an Anti-Mage, a Faceless Void if it wasn't fanned out. Perhaps even a Spectre or a Phantom Assassin. I think Phantom Assassin would work very well with the eSporks lineup right now, but that is yet to be seen. We'll see. As Boreal still has one more pick to make before we get into the final stage of the bans here, so still waiting on them. 45 seconds left in their reserve time. Plenty of time to make that pick. They are, of course, looking for a carry and an offlaner at this point. The Nyx Assassin could also be run on the offlane position, but that's not seen hardly as much, and I don't think it will be this game, as the Silencer and Witch Doctor will do a lot to keep him out of lane. So
Crystal Maiden.
I'm to look into Crystal Maiden. All right, so we are going to be having a core
Radiant
Nyx
team
assassin
ban.
of some sorts. This could be either an offlane or you know, even an offlane Brewmaster with a Nyx Assassin mid. I mean, the Nyx Assassin would fare fairly well against the Death Prophet. You know, it's pretty easy to read when the Crypt Swarms are coming in, so you can,
10
of course,
seconds
dodge it
remaining.
with the Spike Carapace, and you always have the mana
5
to return onto
seconds
Death Prophet, and she's a
remaining.
pretty high intel hero, so that's also in the mix as well. Brewmaster offlane could
Reserve
be the case.
the
Even a
time.
Brewmaster in the mid lane is also a possibility, but we'll have to see. I'm curious about the Crystal Maiden picks. I don't see anything on their team that really shines in terms of synergy with Crystal Maiden. Often with the Crystal Maiden, you want to pick up heroes that use a lot of mana
10
for harassing type
seconds
abilities. Something like a
remaining.
Clockwork, something like even a Tiny, or you know,
Dire
something
team
along
ban.
those lines, so that you can really abuse that aura. And yeah, because the snare and the slow are not fantastic anymore, comparable to other heroes in the same role. For example, a Lion could offer quite a bit more in terms of
10
crowd control than the
seconds
Crystal Maiden
remaining.
should. So I'm curious to see what they've got up their sleeves. It looks like they do want to
5
offer that
seconds remaining.
kind of single target control, and maybe abuse some of the jungle farm that the Crystal Maiden
Reserve
can pull in,
time.
get a little bit of extra gold going that way. But I'm really curious about this pick. Maybe it's something they're comfortable with. Maybe it's something they just feel like trying just for the hell of it. But either way, it's going to be interesting. It really will be. Jakiro and Lycan, the final two
Radiant
bans out
team
there. So
pick.
the EG bans in the final phase. I think the core Jakiro would have worked very well with eSporks. They do have a pretty strong pushing lineup and would be able to siege out towers quite well. And of course, that initiation would work great with the Centaur Warrunner. Not a true late game carry, but you know, it is going to wreak havoc in those 20 to 30 minutes that I mentioned earlier. Lycan, of course, banned out because Boreal has the dire side and has not yet selected a true carry
10
in any sense
seconds
of the word.
remaining.
So that was removed, and I would say that that was a
5
wise choice here. We've
seconds
got about
remaining.
12 seconds left as eSporks moves towards their last pick. 7 seconds left into the reserve time. What are they going to go with?
5
We'll see in just a
seconds
moment here.
remaining.
Maybe they random it. Oh, Sven. All right, so they do go with the Sven. All right, I do like the
Dire
Sven. It worked out
team
very well with
pick.
their heavy initiating lineup, and like I said, offers quite a bit. Not, I mean, he's going to have a little bit of a rougher time in lane, depending on who the offlane matchup is. He should be just fine, but I do like it a lot. I usually prefer Sven, as I said, with a hero like the IO or something to, you know, aid him in initiating and farming. But, you know, I think these two supports will do just fine to give him a lot of space in his lane. And Storm Spirit. So this is pretty interesting. I think there's going to be an offlane Nyx with a safe lane Storm, Crystal Maiden, and Venge, and then the Brewmaster on that mid lane. And once again, this I think this is that synergy I was talking about with the Crystal Maiden, because the aura works out very well with the Storm, especially pre-level 6. And I mean, even post-level 6, you give him 4 mana regen per second at max rank of that aura, which is a big deal for
Prepare
the
for
Storm
battle.
Spirit. So that's something to look out for as we get a little later on. But yeah, I really like how this is going to work out. And the Storm Spirit pick does work out fairly well against, you know, a hero like the Sven. Of course, you can disjoint the Storm Hammer if you get the Lightning Bolt in the right timing, and you can always get that easy and early harass out. So this is going to be an interesting game. Anyways, let's introduce the teams and get things underway here. We're going to be looking at Tom playing that Witch Doctor, Easy Breezy on the Death Prophet, Scoop Jackson on the Sven, the Swindler going to be playing the Silencer, and Vagrant's going to be taking up the Centaur Warrunner. Moving down towards their jungles for some defensive maneuvers here as we move into the game. Whoa! Overlays! I remember. This time
30 seconds to battle.
Alright, cool. Down in the bottom lane, we've got Rulebook, Loki 57. I'm going to call him Loki. Loki going to be playing that Nyx Assassin. Down towards the offlane Nyx. 747 Susie going to be taking that Brewmaster in towards mid. Footsie going to be playing on that Crystal Maiden. Up in the top lane, we've got KVH going to be taking the Storm Spirit, and Static on the Vengeful Spirit. So this roaming support duo is actually pretty strong. I kind of like it. They've gone for the boots on the
battle
Crystal Maiden
begins.
and the smoke right off the bat. So they are looking for blood. They definitely want to pick off that mid lane really quickly, and we'll likely see the Brewmaster pick up the Clap first. Generally, you want to go for one of the two other abilities as your level 1, but This is interesting as well, starting with the Glove of Haste. It looks like he wants to get a really quick Midas, so they're looking to turn this Brewmaster into a late core, but early smoke here rotation coming in, and this Death Prophet is going to be the target for Blood. They want to finish her off, and I think it's going to be pretty easy. They're pinging her out, they're ready to go, the clap goes out, Easy Breezy runs down into the river because he doesn't want to get anywhere near those supports. The Magic Missile will fly. There we go, Frostbite up on Easy Breezy, and he's going to be an easy first Blood. Boreal, 747, gets the pick, and he will be first Blood right there in the mid lane. Like I said, starting out with the Glove of Haste is really, really odd. I'm not sure. It'll be weird to see. I think I'll probably go for a bottle first and then maybe straight into a Midas, but that is definitely a strange way to start things out. The Storm Spirit is going to be farming up on top, and the one thing I like about this pickup is that the Storm destroys the Centaur in every sense of the word. This lane is going to be easily won by the Storm Spirit, so these supports are free to roam and do as they please. I mean, Static can come back in, he can stack and pull. The Crystal Maiden, of course, she can stack the jungle and farm up these camps however she wants and make a lot of gold. So Boreal is going to be looking to get themselves a really, really quick and early game lead. But down on the bottom lane, meanwhile, the Nyx Assassin is having a little bit of a rough time staying in this lane. I mean, the Silencer's playing really far up, getting behind the tower, looking to throw out those Glaives of Wisdom. And with the new pathing around these back trees, it's really easy for the Silencer to be able to do that. And you know, all he eats an auto attack and a mana burn on the way back out, and he's just fine. Up in the top lane, looks like they're going in on Vagrants, maybe doing a little bit of harass here, but yeah, they can't really follow it up. No Vortex picked up quite yet, and Static just throws out the Magic Missile, a couple of auto attacks, and he'll be retreating into his jungle for now. We've got the Crystal Maiden running down into the river to pick up that rune. I think she'll probably just be taking it? Maybe they want to keep it. I don't know. Alright, they give the Bounty Rune to the Vengeful Spirit, and that will actually give her level 2, so that was smart to allocate it that way. They're going to smoke back up yet again, and I don't think the smoke was spotted, so Easy Breezy is definitely in trouble here, but he's playing really far down on you know, the low side of the river. He should be safe. Down here, Nyx Assassin getting caught a little bit further out than he'd like, and there is a haste rune on Tom, so maybe they find a kill on him, but he's going to juke through the trees right now, and stun goes out. He's going to bounce to the neutrals, but won't find his way back up to Loki. He's running into the river right now. He does have a Spike Carapace to get him a little further away, and that Stout Shield is blocking a lot of damage, so he should be fine, and he does escape that. He'll probably pop that salve off in just a second. Static still standing up here right underneath the ward, though, and I think they might turn this around. The Centaur is coming for him. He's kind of sandwiched in here, but the Death Prophet is nowhere near to be able to help out, and Static should maybe just be able to run away from this. Vagrant is looking to cause some trouble, but yeah, he just walks right back around. He'll make his way back to his own side of the